Hi, I'm Ryan Nix. This is an open assignment for Dr. Busby's Classical and Medieval Political Theory class, and this open assignment is a presentation about how John Carpenter's They Live is sort of an adaptation of Plato's Allegory of the Cave. During the first clip and the first 15 seconds of the next clip, I'm not going to speak a whole lot. This first clip should give you sort of visual aids and a background for what I'll be talking about later. So let's get started. I love John Carpenter's soundtracks. That is Rowdy Roddy Piper. He's found sunglasses that allow him to see aliens within our midst. And you can see there many subliminal messages and advertisements around the bank.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
An incredible line. And there he goes. This scene leads directly into the next scene that I will show you in a moment. Basically, one moment. Here we are. Here Roddy Piper runs into one of his friends, played by Keith David. They used to work on the same construction site. And his friend has recently learned about his, bank shootout / rampage. And from his perspective, he was just murdering people out of nowhere.
Yo, 1 week's pay. It's the best I could do.
I can't tell if that was a good catch or a good throw. He checks him to see if he's an alien.
Hey, you better find yourself someplace to hide and keep praying nobody ever finds you.
Try these on.
Look, you crazy mother.
Put these on.
Hey, stay away from me.
I'm telling you, you dumb son of a bitch.
You know, if my friend tried to get me to put on a pair of sunglasses, I would probably just put them on, you know? But
I'm trying to save you and your family's life.
You couldn't even save your own.
not that argumentative, I guess.
I'm giving you a choice. Either put on these glasses or start eating that trash can.
Not this year.
Okay. All right. Okay.
This is the beginning of sort of a legendary fistfight in cinema. This is 6 minutes and fairly realistic as far as movie fight scenes go. To give you a little bit of background, the sunglasses that Roddy Piper found, as I said, allow him to see aliens that have infiltrated the upper echelons of our society. Basically, their MO is to travel from planet to planet, depleting the planet's natural resources, destroying the environment in the process, and then moving on. They would leave us to kind of hold the bag.
Put on the glasses.
This movie, it's actually a pretty good metaphor for colonialism as well, and for, class struggle, but we'll focus on Plato's Allegory of the Cave, which is really what this scene specifically kind of is. To give you a little bit of background on Plato's Allegory of the Cave, it's found in the Republic. Plato describes a group of people who have been chained up and they're forced to face a blank wall in the bottom of the cave. They can't move, they can't even turn their heads. Behind them is a flame, and between the people and the flame is a walkway where other people walk back and forth carrying objects or puppets or different shapes, which in turn cast shadows on the blank wall of the cave. These shadows are the only reality the prisoners of the cave have ever known. Oof. So to them, the shadows are their reality. They speak to the shadows, they talk to each other about the shadows, they make up stories about the shadows. Maybe the ones who are the best at making stories become kind of their higher-ups in their prisoner caste system, but they have no conception of a real world. To them, this is their real world. They won't even try to escape because they've never known any different. If you spent your entire life locked up in a cave and you haven't been able to move, you wouldn't try to move because you've never been able to. We don't really know why these people are moving shapes back and forth, but I guess it doesn't really matter for the purpose of the argument. Oh, Ooh, I think that was a sidewalk slam. You can see some of Roddy Piper's professional wrestling experience. And it's appropriate because it's a sidewalk slam in an alley. Even if a prisoner were to come free, he wouldn't try to escape because he would turn and he would see the flame, and his eyes, having only ever known the ambient lighting from the indirect flame, would be presumably very dilated. And so looking directly at the flames would be very painful. So they would turn around and run back to the comfort of their world. What you would have to do is to drag the prisoner out up an arduous and painful journey, which has been shown in this movie so far. In a previous scene, Roddy Piper finds the sunglasses, and he really just looks around at, all the magazines that say conform or reproduce, and the billboards that say consume, and the aliens, which are pretty crazy, but... Anyway, he doesn't really try to do anything until he's drug out of his life. He kind of harangues an alien woman who then calls the police, who also turn out to be aliens. Which you kind of wonder, why were those police aliens? Because the other aliens we see are bankers and politicians and media moguls. Which alien has to become the police officer, Maybe there was an alien Votech school anyway. He's dragged out of the cave of his reality as he knows it by the police attacking him. He kills the alien police and takes their weapons, as we saw that he walked into the bank. I'm not sure why he went to the bank. Maybe he thinks that since, he is apparently become a cop killer, he might as well cash his last paycheck. And then he goes back and meets his friend, which sort of accompanies the next part of the allegory, which states that when a prisoner is drug out and released into the real world, he would find the reality to be much more valuable than the manufactured reality he's known his whole life. Because it's a vertical suplex, I think, which is more valuable because it's real. He would then attempt to go back and free his compatriots in the cave, and he would go down and he would go to them, but he would be blinded again because of the darkness of the cave. His friends, the other prisoners, would infer that you can see him, that his blindness was caused by an injury from the cave, not from the darkness, an injury from his journey to the outside and back. And so they would therefore not be inclined to go with him because they don't want to be blinded either. And they don't even understand that there is an outside. They have no conception of there being an outside world. And so if he tried to even drag them away, they would reach out and kill him, according to Plato. That's shown in the scene we just watched, where he spends 6.5 minutes fighting his friend in an alley to try to get him to put on a pair of sunglasses and see the reality outside of the cave. And that is all. Thank you very much.